is an origin reading for Still Awakening. Okay, so as you might know from watching some of my other readings, I always start by surrounding the room and then myself and then whoever I'm reading in positive energy to create a sacred, protected space for when I do the reading. And I normally use crystals to aid me as I'm doing the visualization. They'll sort of like bump into blocks. And so I was using my rose quartz here. This is a heart chakra stone. And this has to do with being, more open, more loving. And your guides are also saying more vulnerable as well. And okay, and so they're pointing out that this isn't part of what came in during the code name, but they're wanting me to talk about this crystal more specifically because when I choose a crystal, it's also putting its energy around the person. So the specific energy of rose quartz, which has to do with some of these things I'm describing. Like I said, it's a heart chakra stone. So it's all about friendship and relationships and love and just being connected to others in a harmonious way. And also connecting to yourself in a harmonious way. Okay, but your guide is saying, but you have to view yourself in an honest way to really allow who you are to fully ignite and come through you, and to allow it to manifest in the way that it wants, in the way that it so desires. Okay, so yeah, so they were wanting to put this energy more around you as well by me using this chakra. It's like I said, the crystal also puts its energy out. And yes, for anybody wondering, I do cleanse these crystals after readings. Okay, so but they want me to move now into what was coming through during the code name. Um, as I received the code name, I mean. So as I'm putting the energy around you, there was really a block on the right side, the arm specifically, a lot of energies on the arm. One thing that was coming in was a connection to your mother, and this did feel like a positive connection in some ways. So it did feel like a bit of a positive connection there. And almost like an energy of receiving something positive from her, where you are able to it's like in that way you have this positive, how do I say it? It was almost like feeling like there is a flow where she is someone that you can relate to or speak to. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to say all the time because we most all have things with parents. But at the same time, there is this mostly positive vibration there where you can sort of almost gain an energy from her, okay, and bounce off an energy from her in a kind of respectable way where you can respect her. Um, And you can feel good about her for the most part. But then there is this, and again, just saying the most part because that's more my thing. That's more my thing coming through, because I know that people tend to have issues with parents at the same time, even if they feel positive about them. So that's more me speaking. Um, but so there is this kind of positive vibe there, but then at the same time, there's this other vibration, like as I'm coming down the arm, um, it feels like, okay, but other women, um, not that you can't respect them in some ways. Okay. Okay. I feel like your guide's wanting me to say this in a specific way. Um, but that there are still certain programmed views toward women that you have that society says basically that a guy should have. So these are like dude programmings. um, and like they were on the right side. The right side is the male side. I wasn't really feeling them on the left side, which is more the feminine side. It was all on the right side, and as well as blocks in like the lower chakra. And one thing that your guide pointed out right away is that it is good to be grounded, and it is good to be physical to an extent, and to be connected to all that is through your physical form. Okay. Okay, your guide is also saying that it's also good to connect with women in a harmonious way through your physical form. But he's saying, but not in a programmed way. So he's saying not going, he's saying not going based off appearance. He's saying this is a programmed view. And he's saying, and this can really be a downfall, because you can end up with somebody who is not, not really so good for you, or doing things that are not so good for you, he's saying. And he's saying that this is something to watch out for. He's saying that he's saying especially guys, especially men, he's saying they're programmed to view this in a positive way. He's saying, but it's something that, but he's saying that it's something that distorts the mental and emotional body. And he's saying it's something that they want you to realize that you are doing. He's saying to yourself, because he's saying that it harms your full awakening, and he's saying that you're still awakening. He's saying the potential is there to have a full swing into the spiritual side of who you are, where you allow your gifts to come through. He's saying, but right now there's too much masculine energy in a negative way. And he's saying the reason that it would be in a negative way, it's not because masculine energy is negative, it's because when there is too much of anything, whether it would be feminine energy or masculine energy or anything else, too much of a good thing, you know, like the saying goes. When you have too much of one and not enough of the other, there isn't enough balance. And they're saying that you are adding more feminine energy. You are creating more of that, um, more of that vibration in your aura. And they're saying that more of this resistance, because he's saying, because that's what it is. He's saying that a negative male energy is more like resistance. And he's saying that it resists the path. And he's saying that it resists the divine feminine. Yeah, and your divine feminine is your intuition. It's your psychic ability. Your masculine is your ability to manifest what you want to create, but it's the feminine energy that helps you know what to manifest. That is your inner knowing. That is your psychic ability and your ability to master who you are on a psychic level comes from that energy. Now, your ability to manifest and to take actions that are needed to obtain the things that you are knowing and the things that you are desiring from that inner knowing. That comes from who you are as masculine energy. That comes from your masculine energy, your true masculine energy. Right. But he's saying, but it needs to be directed by your inner knowing and your calling for your life. And he's saying that each action that you take, whatever it is, should come from the stance of what will help me reach my full potential, what will help me awaken more, what will help me awaken faster, what will help me become who I am. As I become more of who I am, I attain everything that I truly desire. The things that I do not desire fall away because they were programmings from the start and they're programmings now, but I realize it. And so I chip away at them until I gain mastery over them and they fall away and they're no longer accepted by me as part of who I am. So you're accepting certain things as part of who you are, but that doesn't make them truly who you are or part of who you are. They're part of your expression now, but they're not really necessarily part of who you are or part of your soul's expression or leading you towards your mission or towards your path. So he's saying that there is this cleanup that needs to happen before the full mission can be revealed. Okay, I thought so. Or the full origin, he's saying, as far as that goes. But what they can do is give you some guidance into some of the places that you have been and some resonations that you do have. And they can guide you a little bit as far as how to get on to your mission fully. And he's saying that there are some interests that you have that are moving you in a good direction. As far as career and things like that. You have an idea of where you would want to go, and those are good things. You should go with where your abilities are, where they lie, but you should also go with your desires, like what excites you, what is your passion, in the way of career. And he's saying that you do know that is something that you are open to. So he's saying that you're moving in a good direction with some things. But he's saying, but we have to include more of the spiritual side into those things and continuously keep doing that. So he's not saying that you aren't doing that at all, but he's saying that add a little more of that, he's saying. And he's saying that you're going to continuously become more and more and more of who you are, and more present with who you are. And so you'll be stepping onto the path in more of an exact, direct way. Because he's saying right now you're on it to a degree. You are. He keeps saying you know what he's talking about. You're going to know what he's talking about. So I don't even feel like he needs to give more detail about it, or that he wants to, especially with the time that we have for the reading. As he keeps indicating, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about, exactly what he's talking about. As far as career and what your passion is, yeah, and he's saying this is a good thing because a lot of people don't even know what their passion is. So he's saying, so this is you coming through. And so this, he's saying, is a less programmed area. You're seeing it in more of a clear way. It's coming out in a more refined way, where it comes out less polluted, basically. He's saying, or less programmed is really the better word for it, he says. Okay. Okay, so he wants me to take a second pass here. Okay, so I'm going to surround myself first. Okay, here we go, Crystal. And I feel him really directing it, actually. Your guide. Okay. Okay. So before, when I surrounded you the first time, I went more like this. I didn't really go this way. Normally I go both ways, but I didn't really feel to. So now I more went this way, from behind and forward. And so, like I said before, I could feel like the lower chakra, especially, and like blocks there. Now, as I'm coming around this way, your guide is kind of pointing out, because he was really more directing it, especially, but your guide is more kind of pointing out, the prominent chakras are the ones in the legs and the feet and the root chakra. I would say the sacral too, to a degree, but I was especially feeling the root chakra and the legs and knees and feet. And that's not a bad thing, entirely. That really isn't, because you do need to be grounded. Like he was even saying, it is good to be grounded, and it is good to connect with who you are in that way, and that can really give a charge to help you do things, and to help you attain the things that you want. So he doesn't want you to lose that. He just wants you to more balance it and direct it. Because that really felt more prominent to me than the upper chakras did. So he wants you to know that you need to gain more of an inner knowing, an inner compass that directs you, where you're never directed in a programmed way. And he keeps saying this appearance-based thing, but I don't really feel like he's talking about women now. I feel, okay, to a degree, but I feel like yeah, I mean, that's still there. But there's also a feeling like he's talking about you um, wanting to come across in a certain way. Some of it has to do with, it's so weird, a malware is detected. Okay, I'm gonna have to clean that after the reading or let Wolf do it or something. Okay, so what was I saying about these programmings that need to be cleaned? So some of this that he's referring to has to do with appearance. Like you need almost to physically appear a certain way is the feeling coming through. For some reason, you have to appear a certain way. Okay, again, there's this feeling like some of this is just like male programmings, and it has to do almost with females or women. But some of this has to do with guys too. The way that guys are going to see you, or the way that guys look at you. But then on the other hand, this doesn't all have to do with appearance. This even has to do in some ways with like the way that you speak, or just the way that you are with others when you're around them. How you're not, he's saying, how you're not really fully yourself. You don't really feel um, always like you can speak in a vulnerable way. And he just means in like an open way where you are just who you are and you don't have to come across in a certain way. You don't feel any type of insecurity because he's saying, because even if you're trying to come across in a confident way, he's saying that's still there, that's still underneath, and it's still guiding and directing you, he's saying, in certain areas. But he's especially saying in the way that you come across to others. So he's saying that appearance has to do with multiple things. It isn't always about looks, although some of this does have to do with that, because he's saying it's kind of overall how you come across. Okay, so we have a few more minutes. So now he wants to get into some of these connections that he was talking about earlier. Okay, like he said, he's not going to give the origin yet, but he does want to speak a little bit. Okay. Okay, and he is saying that you are kind of moving towards your mission already when it comes to what you are passionate with. Um, so he kind of touched on that a little bit. So he's saying that this is right, where you're already kind of feeling that your talents and your gifts lie. And it just needs to be tweaked a little bit. And as you come through more, he's saying the path will open up and it will show itself. But he's saying that you're already right about certain things, though. You are. Okay, so let's move on to so these connections. This is something that he wants to talk about. Okay, Lyra is something coming up. Okay, that makes sense because I kept almost getting this lion energy before I even got the code name. It felt like this kind of lion or like cat kind of energy. Okay, so there is like a Lyra um, connection coming in. Um, Okay, there's something with Aldebaran too. Okay, so these are some really like sun kind of energies and kind of male kind of energies coming in. Like Lyra can be kind of a dominant vibration in a positive way, but it is like a very male vibration. Aldebaran, this is a pretty mental vibrational place. Okay, now he's also saying Pleiades. This is more of a feminine type of energy place. Oh, okay. There's some other A trying to come in, and I couldn't figure out what it was. Okay, but he's saying Arcturus. Okay, so this is actually a really, really balanced kind of place to me. Whenever I feel Arcturus, it really feels like a very good balance of both. Um, in some ways, I would say more feminine, because they do really focus on a lot of the things of the feminine side and the feminine aspect. They tend to be teachers and healers and just come in with a lot of spiritual gifts that are developed. But at the same time, they have an authority to sort of carry them out. And there really is a balance there with both of the feminine and the masculine energies with with the Arcturians. Okay, so those are the, was that three? Or I think that was four or five, I don't know. But however many connections that he just gave, those are the connections that he wants to give. There's something about Lyra. Oh, I think maybe he's from Lyra, or one of your guides is from Lyra. Wait, is it you? He has like a very protective energy. He keeps, whenever I'm surrounding you in the energy, he keeps coming over you with this black. And black really signifies like a very protective energy. It also signifies a feminine energy as well, because your inner knowing, it's something that you have to go within and find. And so it's dark, you know. You can't always see it. You have to investigate it and find it, figure it out. So it's a mystery. Whereas the masculine energy is more, it's light, it's more lit up. It is your consciousness, what you consciously know already, and like he was saying, your ability to manifest. So he comes in with this more black energy, but this isn't really signifying him or his energy. He's saying this is signifying what you need right now, what you need at the time, to fulfill you more and better. Okay, so he's also actually suggesting more psychic protection, because he keeps coming over you like this with this black. So this is indicating this almost need for psychic protection, which he's saying that there would be if you are influenced almost by what others think, by what others might think of you, or like what others might feel towards you. But he's saying that there is a slight empathic ability there too, and he's saying slight because he's saying that it needs to develop more. So he's saying that that's almost in its early development. But he's saying that that is there. And he's saying that as you grow more, it will open more, but also as you psychically protect yourself more, it will open more because it knows that it can. If it doesn't, if this gift doesn't feel like it's protected, or in other words, if this part of you doesn't feel like it's going to be protected and it's just going to pick up on everything, then he's saying that that wouldn't really be smart almost to develop. He's also saying like visualizations are a good way to increase this psychic protection. And just being aware of how this almost this insecure feeling of what are others going to think, or how are they going to feel towards you. He's just saying being aware that that is there, subconsciously, especially that is there subconsciously. Just being aware of that, he's saying, is a good step to removing it, and to removing any kind of influence coming to you from mostly physical people, is what he's talking about. He is saying thought forms too, but especially physical people coming towards you. And that's a good way as well to begin more developing that ability naturally, without really, just by opening up to it. But you'll just open up to it in a natural way and it'll just come through. So it's not something that has to really be developed in a way of studying or doing techniques or something to help you develop your empathic ability, or he's saying, or even any other psychic ability for that matter. He's saying that you do have psychic abilities, and he's saying, but it's like they come through to a limited degree. He's saying, but he's saying, they're going to open up more as you continue stepping more into who you are. Okay, so that one last question real quick, and our time's up. But so is this you are from Lyra, or is this one of your guides, one of his other guides is from Lyra? Okay, no, he's from Lyra. Okay, woohoo, good, got that. Okay, and this, by the way, I'll just throw in really quickly. This doesn't feel like the prominent guide, like one of them, like one of your prominent guides. But it doesn't feel like your main two. It feels more like one of your like main 4 or 5, something like that. Okay, so just throwing that in there. So our time is up and I gotta stop. So thank you very much, Still Awakening, for allowing me to do this reading and somewhat of a clearing, it seemed like, too, going on there. Thank you very much for allowing me to do this for you, and I truly hope that it benefits you. Namaste.